Everyone. Welcome to the Coaching to Flourish podcast. Raj is out this week. She'll be back soon. My name is John Andrew Williams, the founder of Coach Training EDU and Academic Life Coaching here with Eric. Eric, how are you this morning?
I'm doing pretty well. Thanks for having me back. Excited to
Yeah,
see
it's
what we can
fun.
do today.
Week
Yeah.
two, right?
Yeah, week two. Week two. This is great.
It's like your sophomore week. So
Yeah, jump a full year in 1 week. Yeah.
there you go. Let's see what we can do. I forget exactly where we left off, but we'll find it close enough. And I
Yeah.
think we just jump in, right? Jump in and do the thing, listen to some coaching and
Yeah.
see what happens.
Yeah. There is definitely one part of this call when we get to it that I think is I personally have some thoughts about it, which I'm excited to share.
Okay.
It might be
Yay, that
fun.
sounds sounds intriguing.
Yeah.
Do you remember where it was in the call?
It was like near the end. Um, it's like I want to say 15-minute mark. That's the part I was thinking of, but I think we left off 7 minutes in.
Yeah, we're not too
I want
far
to
in.
say,
So my,
but we're
my
not too
thought is
far.
maybe
Yeah.
we should get to that, go to that spot, listen to it,
Oh, okay.
go for the thoughts, and then go back to the 7 minute mark and see what led there. You want to try
Okay.
it?
Yeah, yeah. Let's do that. I think it's like I mentioned something about the higher self, and you latch onto that,
All right.
which I
So
think
hold
is
on.
really awesome.
Let's get there.
Keep doing it, but there's also
Okay, so this is, I got minute mark. I'll share my screen. I got minute mark 15 queued up.
okay. Let's see. Yeah, that eventually maybe. Or not that eventually will, but I still have the capability to do that, and I'm gonna do it. I just need the space for it,
All
I
right.
think.
What, I mean, it feels like the perspective shift is happening, might be subtle, might be massive.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts?
I think there are gears happening right now.
Yeah.
Um and I think there is like strangely enough, it's knowing that I can move out of that comfort zone. And I've done it before. I can keep doing it, but there's also of the idea that maybe there needs to be a balance between me getting out of the comfort zone, but also not forcing it so hard or not forcing things as hard as I think I'm doing in maybe subconsciously or something like that. And the superhero, that superpower, it can rest. It can be used less. Not every I don't need to hammer down every problem, right? Like what everything looks like a nail, that expression. And I don't need to use this all the time, but I still need to hammer down nails. It's just I need to pick and choose when to do it. Um, and it kind of sounds like maybe I'm doing too much and I'm trying too hard when rather I would do more by doing less.
Hmm. So what do you want to let go of?
I want to let go of.
I like that question.
It's a good one, yeah. This sounds weird to say, but I feel like it's super true. I need to let go of my future, which sounds intense, but I know isn't. Um, I think I need to let go of. uh, everything being a certain way.
All right. What thoughts, Eric? No, I don't want to
Uh,
jump in mid-client stream, but I got some thoughts on this one.
yeah. I think that what you need to let go of question definitely hit the heart of like where I was going. And
Mhm.
I at that point when I heard that, I remember being like, this is this is gonna sound very strange, but like I need to let go of my future. And the moment I said that, I felt so much less pressure put on myself. Um, which so it was like a great question because it's not something I think someone would normally come up with without being prompted for it.
Yeah, I'm curious because like normally when a client says like go to the future, coaches go, whoa, whoa, whoa. Like that's the whole point, of where you want to be. But I get where you're coming from in this one where it's the weight of the expectation of yeah, it's the weight of expectation of future that is preventing depth in the present moment.
Exactly. Yeah, that's 100% it. So it feels like that it feels weird to say that and to hear that, but
Yeah,
in this instance, it's exactly what I needed to do, which is crazy.
totally. Yeah, it's wild that coaching operates like this.
Yeah.
That like you as a client have permission to go here if you need to go here, but only you need to go here.
Yeah.
And you also need to say that to another human who doesn't judge it, put it someplace, be like, hey, like let me really mess with that in a judgy way. But let me
Yeah.
mess with like let me uh connect on it in a curious way. All of that's
Yeah.
going on in my head at the moment. Yeah.
I think it
Interesting.
definitely the space is very important for that because like you're right. If I said that to anyone else, it'd be like, what the hell are you saying? But in this instance, it was like it's the only place I could say.
That's fascinating. Yeah, yeah, all right, let's keep going.
Yeah. And rather just letting everything happen a lot more naturally.
Yeah, I hear you. What do you want to call it? This season of life.
First thing comes to my mind is like a plant, like a flower growing, the blooming season
Yeah.
where just gotta water, let it go.
What's
That's what comes to my head, the blooming season.
what specifically is it the thing that like, yeah, what do you want to call specifically the thing that you want to continually let go of in this season?
Oh, I see. Um, the thing I want to continuously let go of.
Want to let go of theme, man.
Yeah, it's my future. So I want to let go of my expectations for it,
There you go.
my
That's what I'm waiting for.
Yeah.
You know what I
assumptions,
mean? I was like waiting
control
for
of
like
it,
get in there,
my
really dig.
well, hard to come up with a name for this.
Yeah, there you go. I can always feel I'm like riffing now. My internal
Um,
bass is like dum, dum, like it's
yep,
play.
yep, yep.
There's a soundtrack to this one right at the moment.
It's it's super what myself say the free season, the flow season, something like that, where it's not it can go whatever way it wants to. Um,
Yep.
the abstract art season.
Yeah, yeah. I don't know what that means.
I I thought I knew what I was talking about. It's so hard to come up with a name sometimes, like on the spot.
Oh,
But
really?
for to me in that instance, because I think like I don't know why it was just so difficult to think of something in that moment. But it's this has happened a couple of times in this session where something has been defined, and like that happens in a lot of coaching sessions, right? I think earlier I
Oh
talked
yeah,
about the higher
I
self. You
define
mentioned it.
almost everything. Like
Yeah,
it's useful because you have to know, okay, let's get back here, I like it when I have defined spaces.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was thinking about that since last week, and this is kind of the thought I was having because I was just like going through what we talked about last week, and I realized why it's so brilliant and why it works so well and has to. I feel like it has a tie to that part of humanity that's like the storyteller aspect. So like because I define something and you riff off it and we riff off it together, it's like a collaborative sort of space that we keep building upon
Totally.
over and over again.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Um, if I had to put it in a metaphor, it probably would be like in like a ocean of like thoughts, feelings, um, ideas. It's much easier to build something on solid ground than it is to build in like flowing water. And that solid ground would be like the definition, the naming of something, the metaphor of something, right?
Yeah, I think the name gives a coherence to the ideas.
Coherence. Yeah, that's a good word
You know, it
for it.
holds them all together. It's more like in establishing a business and especially running one with teams.
Hmm.
I mean, it's like the uh it's one thing to just say it, like, hey everyone, this is what we need to do. It's a completely separate thing to say, here is the project brief that I wrote, and the title of this project is, you know, XYZ. All right. And now you have like a tangible XYZ to go back to that holds holds all the action steps together. Otherwise, if there's no
Yeah.
name for it, no project brief, no follow-up, nothing, like
Yeah.
what are the
That's
chances?
brilliant.
Yeah, like what are the chances it's actually going to happen? So uh there's definitely the same applies to humans. Like, you know,
100%. It's how our brains work. It's much easier to latch onto something when it's like well defined than it is to just kind of uh, have it sort of vague and out there. I
I like
really
your
like that
idea.
aspect. It's so fun.
I like your idea of narrative too, because I mean, it is a narrative. It's a story, and it's your story. And this
Yeah.
is where a lot of coaching comes from, is narrative therapy, in the sense of, you're looking at what is your story, and if you were the actor in your story, what are the things that the actor needs to do? What's the
Could
result?
write an entire paper based on that topic and how it relates to coaching. I have
Totally.
so many thoughts on it. So it's just so fun to me. I love stories.
A lot
I'm
of
like,
the
this is the
coaching,
quintessential version. But,
yeah, a lot of the coaching I experienced in the training, they were actors.
oh, really? Actors.
The
I guess
founders,
the
Laura
improv helps,
Whitworth,
right?
Henry House, Karen Kenzie House, they were actors, and
Interesting.
they applied a lot of like that internal work. As an actor, you have to find different, like Miser techniques. Like, you have to find
Mm,
different spaces within yourself that you can tap into that emotion, because there's something about a camera that it can capture. Like, you can obviously tell when people are overacting and they're just saying the words and they're doing the thing that, like, they're doing sadness, but they aren't
mhm.
actually feeling sad. And so then you have actors, I think it was Marilyn Monroe, or, like, there are different actors who step into the space who figured out Meisner technique, the idea that you have to feel the emotion, like tap into your own emotion, and then present that while you're saying the line. Then all of a sudden, acting just completely changed. The same thing in our lives, where, let's say you tap into that most resilient self.
Mhm.
What's the emotion that gets you there? What do you want to call it? How do you want to do that? Then the question then becomes, how can you use that? What's the
It,
structure to get back to that? Happens in sports all the time too. Sports psychology and timeouts and all that stuff. I mean, that all plays into it.
it's so fun, honestly. It's so fun. I love that part of like humanity, and I think life coaching really just exemplifies that part, right? Of just because I mean it ties back into beliefs and perspectives too, right? If you look at something while you're happy, it's much different than if you're looking at it while you're sad or in a more neutral state. And I guess these kinds of conversations, like you said, just help tap into those different emotions and different feelings. It helps tremendously.
Totally. We haven't got to the question yet, but I feel like we're getting closer and closer, you know?
I think so. I just
Or do you think we passed
remember
it?
we may have passed it, but I remember it being like later on. And it was like, because once you ask that question, I feel like everything clicked into place for me. And I just felt much more confident. I felt like it was at the end.
I
But we
remember
may
the
have passed
question.
it.
I felt like it was in the middle, like towards the,
Really? Okay. You
yeah,
could be right about that then.
but we'll see, because this is a
Yeah,
while
yeah.
ago. A lot's happened between now and then. I don't know. I'm kind of curious.
Yeah, me too.
Let's see. Let's see. How does this relate to the constant tired? Or how does the
That
constant tide relate to this? Like, do they exist in the same space, or what
brilliant
interaction
question.
happens when these two
I like
things
that one.
It's good.
are
It's really
here?
good. There's definitely like a release of pressure. Rather, yeah, like I think they exist in the same space where I'm causing myself to get more tired because things have to work out a certain way.
Yeah.
Whereas if I do less, the less is more idea, right? Where if I doing less, I'll have more energy and it'll work out because there's not as much I'm doing. Um,
Mhm.
but yeah, less is more. So I just have to pick and choose the things that I want to do and let the rest of it figure itself out.
Yeah.
I love tie around like that.
What's a tangible step in the next 2 weeks you can test the strength of this insight?
I think, well, I really like the sunrise. Uh, I think that for sure. I'm a tangible goal will be like see the to wake up at 6 and head out, just be out of my house. Um, at least four times a week. I like that. Um, so part of me says every day, but baby steps. So four days a week, I want to be out of my house. Get up as soon as the alarm hits, I step outside. That's it. I think that would be good. And then the rest of the day, I have less expectations for. Um, where the one thing that I need to do would be to just get up and go out. And then the rest of the day, I can.
Like, this is ambitious as a coach. I'm like, yeah, I don't know. This one feels really challenging. Um, I'm curious how it's going now.
I like every day I go out.
You're doing it.
Yeah, I'm doing it.
This
I've been doing
works.
it. Yeah, it worked. Come 100%. To like, I know it's kind of interesting you think that was ambitious because to me, I'm like, that's the easiest thing I could possibly do.
Oh, it's amazing. Because I'm thinking to myself, this
Yeah,
is ambitious, but I'm going to go with it because I trust you. I'm
yeah,
like, all right, I'm going to go with this one. But
yeah.
I'm thinking to myself, dude, I don't know. That seems like a lot. Like,
Uh, yeah. It's I've been doing it. Like, I don't do it every day, which I'm glad I said that.
yeah,
Like, if you notice, I said I would have normally sets every day, but I've toned it back to be more reasonable because of what we talked about me slowing down, making sure I don't have to do everything all the time. And I think that has made it so that way I actually get up to do it better, and the effects of me doing that have increased because there's no pressure to it.
it's great.
So
Oh,
yeah, like
nice.
I've been waking up every day going to see that sunrise. It's been great. I've been back in that habit.
Oh, good for you, man.
Thank you.
Yeah, I like the idea. The other
Thank
thing
you.
playing in my head is the idea of gentle starts. Like,
Gentle
and I
starts.
almost
That's
shared it
good.
here. I was going to say, "Oh, you're doing gentle starts. It's great. Good for you." But I didn't. I was like, I'm going to, because I know, Raj is going to be watching this at some point. I was imagining Raj watching this at some point, thinking, I want to lay one down that I feel like is MCC level. I haven't laid one down in a while that I felt like, yeah, I would send this to the ICF, and I think this would pass MCC. I think this one does.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely got there. That's that's funny. Uh, what would that fall under? Gent passive affirmation or something like that?
Yeah, we're
Or
was making jokes with the Moist, like like um realistic affirmations.
oh
And
yeah,
it's
yeah, yeah,
like,
yeah.
you're okay. Or like I am mediocre at cleaning the kitchen.
Gentle affirmations. Yeah, those are good.
Ones that are like more like they're positive, but just like
Yeah,
not
maybe
overly
more
so.
believable, right?
Yeah,
Like,
like
yeah, it helps you get up there. Yeah, I like that. That's a good
all
idea.
right, let's go. So let's go back to the 7 minute
Yeah,
mark, which is ironic because in the chasing of the question, we've avoided the question.
yeah.
So let's go find it and let's what's the resistance to that?
Great
So now we're
question.
going
We
back
definitely
instead
we
of
definitely talked about this, I think. It's
yeah.
the moment I wake up and
So there's that. So here's
yeah,
8 minutes.
that's a thinking face. Look at that.
I know, man. Getting you in there.
I did not get make that face.
I'm seeing things I do too, like on the regular. Like, oh, that's fun. Like,
Yeah. It's so
like
weird watching yourself back and just the mannerisms that you have that you don't realize. It's so
I
funny.
wonder, looking back in this world, if I look back and say, oh, you know what? Like, look at all those humans looking at themselves for the first time, because this is unusual, right? Be able to look
Yeah.
at yourself on video.
Yeah.
Ooh, that's a great
Man, I
question. I
think
have a few things that come to mind.
That was a long pause, by the
Um,
way.
I think so hard on this.
it
It's incredible.
feels like primarily I could just be out of practice. Um, and what was once something I got used to has rusted. And there's like that higher self that
Ah,
wants
there it
to
goes.
higher self.
All
What
Well,
is
right,
the next
all
a
right.
thing?
part of me
Oh,
that wants to like try to do its best to enter survival mode and be like, okay, this is what you gotta do to survive. This is what you gotta do to be okay. But then I know from my general experience that pushing past that and listening to like, okay, I know this is good. I know I have to do this. I just need to push past it, but the little hints of energy to push past it. I used to do like boxing. I got hit in the face. Getting hit in the face is flinch response, but you have to get used to it. So this is the same way. It's like I've spent so much time not doing that that I need to build it up again.
All right, let's go back to the question then. All right, so now I was going to play the guess to the question because that was a really long pause, and that was a really great answer. But I think we
yeah.
know. I think
Oh,
the
thank you.
question is that higher self on. Let's see if we can get to. Is it 8 minutes then?
I think that was like the first time I mentioned it though, maybe.
Yeah.
Did I? It may
Why?
have been the question after.
Oh, why?
Why?
Are you
Also
kidding
that.
me? All right, let's go back. All right.
I think it's the moment I wake up and I feel
We got that part. All right, hold on.
resistance of
Okay, good.
what I need right now is more sleep. But that also doesn't help. So I think the resistance in the morning is just being able to get up and stay up, which is something I used to be able to do, but much harder these days.
Why?
Oh, okay. That's so funny.
No way.
Then the immediate face I make when you say that, like I'm thinking so hard. Oh
No
gosh.
way.
As
Oh.
a as a experienced coach, how do you feel about that question?
Oh my
And that follow up?
goodness. I love it. I love it so much. Are you kidding? Oh, I think what it is just like, why? Yeah. What? You know better. What's going on?
That's so interesting. Um,
Yeah.
It's the simplest question, right? It's one word. It digs deeper.
Also, too, I know this is like, semi-performative too, knowing that we're going to go over it. So I'm also using my like most fireworky, like, it's real,
Sure, sure, sure. Yeah.
but I'm also like, what's the question I feel like might be somewhat provocative, push it, make it something interesting, which is also good coaching too. So it's the two have mutual goals. Um, but yeah, no, I'm happy with this one. All right, so we got that one. So
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
now we're going back to the thing. I know you're just jumping around. So let's get there.
Yeah.
Try to do its best to enter survival mode and be like, okay, this is what you got to do to survive. This is what you got to do
So
to
we'll
be
pass that,
okay.
I
But
think.
then
Pass this.
I know from my general experience that push
We got there.
away is like I've spent so much time not doing that that I need to build it up again.
Okay, good. This is good.
Yeah.
We'll ride this out.
That's not comfortable anymore.
Mhm. What's your higher aspect of self say about the challenge? Like what's the like what is like if we're to define the challenge? Like what would the higher self say was the definition of the challenge in the morning?
That question was what like really did it for me because if you'll notice, there's so many of these questions I think a lot
Yeah.
afterwards. I answer this really quickly. Um, it's like I love it in a coaching call when there's a metaphor, there's something that's defined that you can latch onto and use the client's own words, right? And once you're
Mhm.
speaking their language, once you're speaking with their metaphors, their whatever they mention, as a coach, it feels so much easier to come up with questions related to that. And as a client, and I've seen this effect as well on my own clients, it feels like the insights and the answers just come so much more quickly. Like just yesterday, I was coaching someone. I asked like something like what's the metaphor for like what you're going through right now. They came up with like a garden, and I started asking questions related to that garden, like what kind of soil, how do you need to till it, what kind of soil, what do you need to add to the garden to make sure it blooms properly, those kinds of things. And it feels like I it's so incredibly helpful. And those are where I feel the most insights and like the crux of a coaching call resides in that land of shared language and that shared story.
Yep.
Thoughts, John?
100%. I was where was I? This is back in my mad scientist phase when I was took a public speaking class.
Okay. Okay.
And this is where I got the what, why, how in the academic life coaching program.
Yeah.
The idea that because a good speaker, like ideally you go through, here's the topic, this is why it's important, this is how it works, and then what if this, and then you go back. It's a little later I learned it's called the format system. They added what if as a way of being able to completely describe a topic, right? In that in that same workshop, we had an icebreaker session where we had to learn about the other person and then say, introduce the person like, oh, this is so and so. She's like this, she likes that, this is what she does. So I did that. And in that session, and this is early in my coach
Mhm.
thing, right? Coach exploration. I changed a lot of her words. I paraphrased a lot, right? And so when we got there, and I'm paraphrasing, she was getting upset. And the instructor goes, whoa, 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 what's happening? Like, this is like 20 minutes in. What's happening? Why is she upset? She goes, oh, he's changing my words. And then the instructor, she goes, "Oh, well, okay, let's explore that. Like this is the impact. This is interesting. This is where like I said, my intention was to keep it fresh, to know that she was being understood, this kind of thing. So what you're speaking to, Eric, is exactly right on, where if you as a coach, you're changing your client's words, you're paraphrasing or trying to ask the question differently, your client has to take a moment to judge. Do I like it or not? Does that apply to me or not? When in fact, if you use their words, you avoid all of that and it's way easier. They're not judging it, they're going deeper. And you as a coach it's easier.
It's easier. Yeah. Yeah.
God, man, I remember that moment. I was like, okay, I should just, why? Why make it harder? It doesn't work.
Yeah.
Or it
Part of
works. It's just not, it doesn't work as well,
yeah. Yeah. It's like it's the idea of like letting the client take the lead, right? You're just ripping off what they're saying. It's great. I love that about humans. It's just a fun little factoid. We like it when things are spoken in a way that we understand, that's spoken in our own language, right? So good.
It's
So
so
good.
nice. I was like, I don't need paraphrase.
Yeah.
I've listened to so much coaching. Paraphrase works, I'd say about 2% of the time. And
It's
I think
kind
it
of high
works.
percentage.
Yeah, 2%. One out of 50.
Yeah.
It works. But when it works, it's amazing. But I think it works best when people are paraphrasing, if they're shifting the perspective. But even then, I think it's better to ask the question on perspective shift rather than, so what you're saying is blah, blah, blah. So
Right.
what I'm hearing is like, all of those just toss, just chuck. No, 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 no.
Yeah.
Mm-mm.
I feel like that's only really useful if like you're completely out of ideas, which if you get to that point, then there might be something else going on.
Just be quiet. Just
Yeah.
think. Sit. That's what I do. I don't
Yeah.
know. About 1/3 of the time, I don't know what I'm going to ask until after the person is done talking, maybe half. And I just sit there and go, okay, this is what I'm interested in now. This is what I'm most curious about if I were them. You want to give yourself that time. I think there's really no rush.
Yeah. It's that level two listening, right? I noticed that I'll think of a question while my client is saying something, and then I'll just keep that question in my head, and then I'll step into level one listening where I'm not actually listening anymore because
Right.
I have that question in my head. So it's it's so interesting, like where I should be listening the entire time, which is great.
Well,
Super
let's
interesting
finish
stuff.
this.
Yeah,
Let's see where this question goes, and then
yeah.
see how the follow-up goes.
Definition of the challenge in the morning.
Oh yeah, I just want to say this too. Oh my goodness, I love this question so much. Like
It's a great
seriously, the
question.
definition.
Yeah,
This comes from
it's
one
a
of my
really good idea.
working with a web developer, and he'll tell me, John, define the problem. God, I love that question.
As an engineer, yeah, that's actually that comes up a lot. That's interesting. It's funny just related to coaching. But it's so
Isn't it
true. Like
awesome?
that's a good question. That's a great question. Yeah.
Define the problem. Yeah.
Because again,
So
even the problem can be vague, right? So you need to make it tangible.
yeah, like, oh,
Yeah.
the problem is like, our dashboard is too hard to navigate. Students are mad. Okay, that's a real tangible thing. Now let's fix it.
Yeah. Exactly.
Gosh, all right. I'm like, how would your higher self define the problem? Yes.
It's a
I
great.
think the
It was a good question.
challenge the higher self would say is is the challenge is getting out of comfort. Um, to do what is immediately uncomfortable for the sake of yourself and for your, yeah, it's that immediate overcoming that immediate response of returning to safety.
Mm-hmm. How is your ability? It sounds like it's almost like a superhuman superpower, like Eric's superpower. How's this superpower playing to the narrative of your life? Gosh, this is cool.
It's the basis of.
All right, we gotta stop though. For the sake of time. Oh my
There's
goodness.
so much to talk about still. That's crazy.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like this one.
Some good questions. I don't write them
This
down.
is one I've done. I mean, we did it how many weeks ago now? 3 or 4?
I think 4.
So some of the demos I did, when we first started this project,
Mm-hmm.
I put it out there and I say, I need some demos. I get a rush of them. I do like 7 or 8 of them. And then we start listening to them and I realize, oh no, like there are things I could do better. So this is one that has the benefit of all the podcasts and listening to all the coaching.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, this to me feels pretty confident. And I stopped trying to get like a topic, like, because we have some gaps and like we need demos for certain places in the curriculum.
Right.
I just stopped trying. I'm like, yeah, it's too hard to try to match it all up. And ironically, because of that, I'm actually hitting those points. That's
Letting go
wild.
of expectations.
It's unreal. Like
Everything comes around again. Yeah.
We're hitting those. Yeah. Seriously. Eric, this is excellent clienting too. I mean, you're going for it. It's generous, it's vulnerable, it's meaningful, it's tangible. Like, you know what I mean? It's a real thing that's you're working with here.
It helps that I love talking. So
Don't we all?
yeah.
I like talking and listening and communicating with other humans. Gosh, it's fun.
Yeah. Well, thanks for having me on again. Glad we could finish this out.
Yeah, me too. And I got some other ones. I have an idea. I'm gonna gently roll it out.
Okay.
To anyone watching, if you're interested, and we'll see what happens. My birthday is May 1,
Ooh.
and coach training week is somewhere in early May. Let's call it mid-May. So I'm thinking of doing a 24-hour coach marathon to see if I can coach 24 hours straight, probably from 8 p.m., starting at 8 p.m., going to 8 p.m., and see what happens. Like see what happens, and live stream the whole thing for 24 hours, probably around May 12 or something like that.
Okay.
But if people want to volunteer to be coached for 30 minutes live streamed, I'm gonna gently roll it out. And if I get enough people, I'll do it. I need 48 people
Yeah, that's a lot of people
to do this. So we'll see. So all those listening, I'm just gonna announce that right now. In a month, we'll see if we can get it together. But I want to do it. I want to see, because I want to see if I can just do it and see what happens. I'm more curious than anything else. I'm also curious to see what happens to the video, like if it picks up steam at all or if it just falls flat. But I figure it's worth a try. Why not? But anyway, Eric, thank you. Thanks for being here. Thanks for holding it down with me. And all the listeners, everyone out there, see you next week. Hope you're having a great April. Bye, everyone.
Bye, guys.